the interaction between your PC and the consumer is going to change. And it's not about us knowing how to use the PC. The PC is going to know how to use work better with the consumer.
Hello and welcome to Bit by Bit Leadership Conversations. I am your host, Carolina Milanesi. I'm coming to you from lovely, Las Vegas. It's nice, sunny, and chilly. And we are just wrapping up a morning kickoff of the celebration with Qualcomm and the big ecosystem that is being built around Excelite and AI VCs and AI and computing is going to be very much the story of CES in 2026. I'm here with Kedar and Sam to talk about what to expect. And I want to start with you, Kedar, because if I'm talking about the future of computing in 2026, you were very much at the forefront of AI and computing. But how do I need to think about this next step? Because it feels like yesterday, but it's been 2+ years that we've been trying to convince people that AI is coming and AI is actually here.
Yeah. First, thanks for joining us and Happy New Year to you. Caroline, I think, as you correctly pointed out, AI is here. A lot of consumers don't know it, but we showed some data earlier where more than 60% consumers are already using AI in one way, shape, or form. I think it's a question of how consumers understand what AI is, because there's almost every single vertical that you think about that is actually positively impacted by AI.
Absolutely.
So, I'll give you an example. At Qualcomm, for example, we've got AI integrated pretty much across the board, right? Our legal team is using AI with Spot Draft as one of the ISV partners we work with.
Did clear that statement? Illegal team that clear a statement? You're okay saying that?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We are using them. They're being demonstrated here as well. So, we're using Spot Draft. We're using Code Gen for all our code optimizations. So across the board, we have more than 18,000 next-gen AI PCs with Snapdragon X series integrated. So we're pretty excited about where we are right now, and I think where the journey is headed in the next couple of years.
Sam, from your perspective, from both an enterprise point of view and a consumer point of view, do you think that users are thinking about AI in computing or are thinking about outcome and what they're trying to achieve?
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, thanks for the opportunity. And AI, like any other technology, was internet 20 some odd years ago. It's a tool. So whether it's enterprise or consumers, they really care about the value it delivers. But at the same time, people get excited about the product they can hold and a device they get excited by. And that's where we're super excited to continue the relationship with Qualcomm, where they're now X2 Elite, where you get not only a all-day battery life, but now, actually, I would say all-weekend battery life with amazing performance.
We were talking just now about the fact that from a consumer perspective, there's still a lack of understanding and not for lack of trying. But it's always hard, in my opinion, having been around tech for a long time, when there's such a big change like AI, to make sure that everybody is singing from the same in book, as they say in the UK. So messages being consolidated in a way that we keep on repeating the same points so they get it. In your opinion, what is one of the biggest misconceptions about AI? We talk about on device and we talk about cloud, and we started to talk towards the end of 25 about hybrid, which is really is the future of AI. What is it that we need to really explain to consumers for them to go, and have this epiphany and embrace it?
Yeah, I think, Carolina, the best way of how AI will impact people is if people don't know how it's run. What we want them to understand is that it's actually helping them be more productive. I'll give you a great example. My wife's an architect. And so, as she was asking me the same questions as a consumer, she's like, hey, you talk about all this AI stuff. How can I use AI? Right. And so she does interiors for homes and stuff. And so what happened is I showed her a bunch of tools. And I said, look, here, if you go to this place, you can actually take some measurements in the room. You yourself can envision with this particular application, you can see how this room will look on your own. You can change all of these different models and you can use it for your clients. So she has started embracing that already. So I think the best way to convince a consumer is to be able to explain how it can impact their lives and be more productive, be more efficient. Because like I said, in this great point and case example, if you're an artist, exact same thing, you're drawing with a brush, but you're able to generate some beautiful art. So it's not a single vertical, it's almost every vertical, but it's the question of how consumers understand that it impacts them without understanding the underlying technology. Like if you go back almost 10 years, people don't know, but we added an NPU in our mobile chips 10 years ago. And a lot of the effects that you had, like the it was called bokeh effect, now what is known as background blur, in pictures and in video, those ran on the NPU. So consumers didn't know. It's the term and the technology, it seems to be making people more nervous. But if they understand the use case behind it and how it's improving their day-to-day lives, I think they'll be much more open to embracing these PCs.
I agree with you. Sometimes we make it too complicated because we want to focus on the technology. Sam, HP is in a very fortunate position of hardware, software, and user consumer behavior. Do you start to see, to Kedar's point and his wife example, real use examples from your studies that really bring home the value of AI, both from an enterprise and a consumer perspective?
Yeah, so I have a couple of kids. One's started career about 2 years ago for her. She's in consulting, and again, using AI in the workflow is so natural to her. And second, I also have a middle one in college, and we recently went on a holiday vacation. She came back, and she was doing video editing on her computer. Again, being able to use AI naturally, where she traditionally would not have done that, but it's come so easy, and making the outcome simple and easy to do, I think, is what AI enables for everyone.
Yeah. From a technology perspective, I just said we need to stop talking about technology and just deliver an hour.
Technology question. So there you go.
I think a lot, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, I think a lot of delivering AI in the right way is about balancing performance and battery optimization. And obviously, Qualcomm is being a leader in battery optimization for a long time. Is this where we are, especially for 2026, as we move from early adopters and pilots to full-blown AI workloads?
Yeah, I think, earlier this morning when we announced the X Plus, Microsoft joined us on stage, and you heard Microsoft talk about how, even today they have use cases that utilize all of what we're offering with the AD tops. I mean, it's clear, there's a lot of bets we take, and there's a lot of research that goes into understanding, because at the end of the day, when you think of a silicon or you think of a chip, there's so much die area, and we have the option to add the right mix of CPU or GPU or NPU. In this particular generation, we chose to add an AD TOPS NPU because we believe that, as you said, the future is hybrid. We're seeing the use cases and we're modeling all of those internally. And obviously, as you know, the pace of innovation, even in AI and the models, is just incredibly good, right? There are newer models coming out almost every day. The models are getting quantized. So when we launched X series, we talked about a 45 TOPS NPU and a 13 billion parameter model. Just recently, somebody showed me how they're able to run a 26 billion parameter model on the exact same NPU. So the point is that 26 billion is running at great accuracy and driving a new use case that wasn't possible before. So think of it as, if I'm a consumer and buying an AI PC today, I want to be able to future-proof because the use cases and the models are moving at such a rapid pace.
Yeah.
So that's where we believe innovation is going to be moving at a much accelerated pace than we've seen before.
And from a design perspective, I'm curious how you're thinking about new workloads and workflows as well that are coming in thanks to AI. Are you seeing AI making you rethink what a PC is going to look like?
So I think one of the benefit of AI is thinking ability to what we call multimodal. Right?
Yeah.
So not just a keyboard or screen, but what you can do with cameras now and voice and microphone. So I think designing all those input and output sensors become a lot more important. Those are design thinking we're leveraging. And I think, again, working with Qualcomm, where there are a lot of expertise coming from automotive and mobile, is a great partner for HP to work with.
I'm curious as we kind of get towards the end of our conversation, just to again go back and make it simple for a consumer. If there's one thing that they have to think about in 2026 as they go out and look at PCs, what is that one thing? I'd like to hear both your perspectives.
I think you want to go first? Let me go first. I think the first thing is just ask the question of, does this have an NPU? Because right now there isn't a way for us to distinguish at point of sale and to be able to explain that. So if you're asking the question, ask the question, does this have an NPU? Does it have the latest and greatest? Am I able to run this use case on this PC? Because it would be very disappointing if I'm a consumer, I bought a PC and it doesn't run the latest and greatest software that I was hoping that it would run.
Yeah.
So just ask the question. Also, I'm just going to add one other point, Caroline, if you don't mind. What Sam said something very interesting earlier, which is the world is going to change. He said something super important, which is the text or the input into a device is going to change dramatically. Today, when people use XR glasses and stuff, they've already accepted the fact that their input into the XR glass is through voice.
Absolutely.
So the interaction between your PC and the consumer is going to change. And it's not about us knowing how to use the PC. The PC is going to know how to use work better with the consumer. So it's going to change. So make sure, if I'm a consumer, I want to make sure I'm future-proofing the device I'm buying.
Yeah. And I think before I'm going to listen to your answer, I think what is important as well is to me, it's more than just future-proofing the buy that you have. Like it's about actually future-proofing yourself.
Correct.
Because I think that as a user, whether you're at work or you're at home or you're a student, AI will be part of your life. And so whether you want it or not, and so being able to take advantage of that is going to be critical.
100%.
Sam, what are you thinking the one thing that people walking into a store need to remember aside from buy HP?
Well, I think AI is
With
for
Snapdragon.
I think AI is for everyone. And I really like the future-proofing comment, which is you really want not only performance, but quality. And HP, we launched our product under a new brand, OmniBook, about a year ago. AI is for everyone. And HP is the most trusted and favorite brand in computing in America. So
Let's see your job is not for you.
Yes, just this consumer goes and buys, can I buy an HP Snapdragon laptop with an NPU? And all Snapdragon laptops come with an NPU. So if you just say Snapdragon HP, you have the answer.
Then you don't even have to ask about the NPU. That's a good one.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning. We'll have more coming from CES this week. But as we wrap up the conversation about PCs and the future of computing, remember that there's no future computing without AI.